Hey Mount Hamilton, Club Head Coach Adam Bond here. Today's exercise video is with my close friend Johnny Mauricio, strength and conditioning coach. First off, a couple things you should know. These exercises, you don't need any equipment at all. It's gonna be your body weight, it's gonna be a lot of functional movements. That's key to football and the movements that we're doing. Secondly, all these exercises that we're doing are gonna relay right into your game for better results. So, get your boots on, pull your socks up, it's time to work out, soccer specifically. The next stage is a pre-activation stage. At this stage, we want to activate all those muscle fibers in our glutes and our lower body that we're going to be using in our workout and that we use soccer specifically. And as you see, in order to put it on correctly, Johnny sat down, put one leg in, the other leg in, now he's standing up. I'm going to ask Johnny to put all his weight on one knee. That way we're just standing there. You'll notice there's a slight bend in the knee, his chest is up, he's ready to go. What we're going to do now is called star taps. So star taps, Johnny's gonna take that right foot, he's gonna tap it forward, and then back to the middle. He's gonna tap it out wide laterally, and back to the middle. And then he's gonna tap it back out there, and back to the middle. And he's gonna switch legs, and you'll notice, these are slow, controlled movements, because we're just warming up, getting those muscle fibers fired up and activated. The first exercise is gonna be working on our hamstrings. It's gonna be a single leg deadlift. These are key to firing up those hamstrings, which is also key to sprinting in soccer. First step is get that foot close to the ball and reach down. As you'll notice, Coach Johnny's reaching down with that opposite leg. If you need to rest, you can put your foot down, reach down, and knee drive. What that's gonna do is you're gonna notice that when you're sprinting, keep going there, Johnny. You'll notice that when you're sprinting, you take off with that knee drive, take off with that knee drive, and that's why we wanna work on the stability as well as the knee drive. All right, our next exercise is split squat jumps. These are really key and really functional movements that we use throughout all of our football game. Starting position. I'm gonna ask that you get down on one knee and you have that chest big and brave. I wanna make sure you have that toe part on the ground, not the laces, so that this knee is 90 degrees and this knee is 90 degrees. Once you're in this position, you're gonna rise up, okay? Now, once we rise up, we're gonna go from this position, we're gonna jump up in the air, switch legs to drop down in the opposite leg position. So it looks a little something like this. And as you'll notice, once again, we're working on those knee drives. Remember, quality over quantity. Make sure your technique is there. The rest will come into play. All right, now let's work a little bit on our functional movements that we do in everyday soccer, training, and games. These are lateral balance. These are really key to shifting that body weight from left to right and obviously keeping focus on the mechanics of our body so we get less injured in injury prevention. The way to do these is fairly simple. You're gonna wanna make sure that you have enough room on your left side and on your right side. Now, you're gonna go from one leg, you're gonna use one leg and making sure that you have your hip, knee, and ankle in line. So we don't want to have our knees coming in or out or our hips on one side or our weight transferred. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to literally bound from one side to the other. We're going to use our body, our arms as well. So I'm going to bound to my right, bound to my left, bound to my right, bound to my left. And now let me show you a little bit more of an athletic stance. What you'll notice is that I'm holding and pausing on that specific line where I have that hip, knee, ankle straight with less movement of the knee. So next up, we're working on that explosive power. These are box jumps. Now, before we get started, make sure you're in a safe environment. These can be done on your steps, or if you have an area around you, you can use, for example, like we are, the bench. You're gonna wanna make sure you're not too far away from the bench, maybe a foot or two. Next step, you're gonna drive down to the ground in a squat position and drive up into the air, land two-footed on, and straighten up that back, and then take a step down. Now, just as important as box jumps, we need to work on our depth drops. So I want everyone to imagine they're up in the box, they're jumping up for a header, but they don't know how to land. So now we're gonna work on landing and making sure that we have our body weight efficiently stabilized. So Johnny's gonna get one foot, he's you're gonna drop down off that bench, drive up in the air, and land and stick. All right, next up, we gotta make sure that we hit our upper body as well. Because as footballers, we need to make sure that mechanically our full body is just as strong as we want it to be. So, push-ups are difficult for everyone, but there's a simple way that we can get a lot stronger and we can make sure that we can actually get more push-ups in. So if you just follow me down with the camera here, I want us to start on our knees, okay? And when we start our knees, we're then gonna put our legs in the air so we're in a high plank. Now, with your hands underneath your shoulders, I want you to make sure that as you go down, I want you to go down for a count of 4. So have a look, we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I want you to get back up to your knees, back up to your hands, and down again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Knees, up, 2, 3, 4. These are called negative push-ups. And the reason why we work on these is because it recruits more muscle fibers, it works on your metabolism to make sure it burns a lot faster, and also it makes sure that as you get older and as you grow a lot more, you actually can get into pumping those push-ups. So work on these negative push-ups. Our next strength exercise is focusing on our glutes. Our glutes are our power source of explosiveness when we're actually sprinting or doing any jumps or bounds. And the key to strengthening these is to make sure what you'll see is Johnny has a ball in between his knees. He also has his heels somewhat tucked into a comfortable position in front of his glutes. Now, the key to this is to drive those hips up into the air. Johnny, if you'll show me one of those, and hold while you're squeezing that ball for 5 seconds. We're at 3, 2, 1, and then come back down. And once again, we go up and squeeze those glutes. 2, 3, 1, and back down. This exercise is really key to strengthening up the glutes. All right, let's work on our core stability and core strength. So, we're gonna work on planks. Everyone's seen these before, but they're so key to our athletic movements. So right now, what you'll notice is Johnny started on his knees and he went down onto his stomach. He has his elbows underneath his shoulders, and he wants to make sure that his feet are either together or slightly apart on your toes. From here, you're gonna rise with your hips, squeezing and engaging that core, and you're gonna hold and make sure that your neck is in a perfect straight line, not looking up. So Johnny, look up for me if you can. Don't look up. You can look down towards the ground and just breathe. You're gonna hold these for as long as you can. I suggest starting at 20 to 30 seconds, and after that, you can move on. These are key to our stabilizers and our stabilizer muscles, as well as core power. Next up, working on our side planks. So these are really gonna hit your obliques, which is perfect for our twisting motions that we use every time that we strike the ball in football. Now, once again, we're gonna make sure that our feet are piled up one on top of the other. Next thing, we're gonna go up our body. We're gonna now make sure that our elbow is underneath our shoulder once again. And I want you to focus, and I want you to pretend that there's a string attached to your hip that's right attached to the sky. And right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull that string, Johnny, up. We pull that string up, and we're gonna hold. Once again, keeping that neck in a good stable position. If you really wanna challenge yourself, you can put this left arm in the air. You put that left arm in the air, Johnny. Good. If not, it's fine to have that right back down. Once again, holding for 20 to 30. Then we'll go back to the middle and switch sides. And we'll finish it all off. Make sure you go for a light jog and have some static stretching in. Now, remember, with these exercises, each player is different, and you wanna make sure you challenge yourself. If it's too much, then do less. If it's not enough, then do more. Either way, challenge yourself to be the best player you can. I hope you enjoyed these videos, and stay tuned for more action coming soon.